Hey everyone! In the last video, we talked about how you could calculate measures of central tendency using raw data, right? The raw scores. But what if instead of having that raw data, you had a frequency table instead? It's actually very simple to take raw data and construct a frequency table, or to take a frequency table and convert it back to the raw scores. But we'll also talk about how you can use that frequency table to directly generate these measures of central tendency. So we'll use the same series of scores that we used in the last video, just so that you can see that we get the same measures of central tendency using a frequency table as we would with the raw data. So just so that we have it here, I will type out the raw scores that we used last time. So 8, 5, 7, 9, 8, 6, 8, and 10. So if I wanted to construct a frequency table, I could insert a table here. I want for now 2 columns and let's do 8 rows. All right, so I have my frequency table. I need to identify what these columns are. In the first column, this will be my variable scores, or my x. And then for my second column here on the right, this will be my frequency of each of these values of x. So my values of x we have observed. Starting from the lowest and going to the highest possible score of x, we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then over here, we'll put the frequency for each of these values of x. So only one person had a score of 5, only one person a score of 6, 7. We had 3 people who had a score of 8, 1 for 9, and 1 for 10. Now the first thing that I'm going to want to do is to calculate my total number of participants. So each of these scores would represent a participant here. A lot of times N is used to represent total number of participants. So here my N would be my total number of scores. I have 1, let's see, 1, 2, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 1, 7, another 8. So my total N is 8. When using a frequency table, it's actually very simple to identify the mode, because I would look here in my frequency column and just look for the largest value. Right? So what's the largest number in this column? That number would be a 3. Right? So 3 is my largest frequency, or my highest frequency. I would look over to my column on the left to see, well, what value of x corresponds to that frequency of 3. And I find that my value of x that corresponds with that frequency of 3 is a value of 8. So my mode is 8. If we're looking to identify the median from a frequency table, this can be a little bit more tricky. One thing, though, is that we already have our scores of x arranged hierarchically. Right? So from the lowest value of x to the highest value of x. So that's already done for us. So we've got step 1. Step 2, as we discussed last time, is to identify what that middlemost position is. So I have my total N of 8. I would do 8 plus 1 equal 9 divided by 2. So our middlemost position is 4.5. So we need to identify from this frequency table, where is that position of 4.5 occurring? So we'll look at our frequencies and go down the line. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would be here in my row of 8. 4.5, we're still in that row of 8. So our median would be 8. If I wanted to calculate the mean or the average from this frequency table, what I'm going to do is go ahead and add a column here. And so what this column is going to be is our x times our frequency. So we'll take our right column and multiply it by the left column. So we have 1, 5. Right? 5 times 1 is 5, 6, 7. 8 times 3 would be 24. We have 9 and 10. And so then I would sum all of these together. And sum together, we should get that value of 61 that we got previously. And remember that we need to divide that 61 by the n, or the total number of scores, which is 8. And we should get that same mean that we got in the previous video of 7.63. So we can use this frequency table to generate or calculate all of those measures of central tendency that we've already learned. Now, it's pretty straightforward here in this example because many of our scores have a frequency of 1. But let's make things a little more complicated just so that we can get some more practice here. So let's say that I collected some new data, and in my replication study, I found that 2 people had a score of 5, 8 people had a score of 6, let's say that 11 people had a score of 7. Well, let's keep this 3 people who had a score of 8, 2 who had a score of 9, and 4 people who had a score of 10. So now again, the first thing that I want to do is to determine what is my n. Right? What are the total number of scores that I have, or the total number of participants in this replication study? So I would add together my 2 plus 8 plus 11 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4, which would be a total n of 30. Of course, this time, again, it's very easy to determine what my mode is. I would look down this column and see what is the largest number. Well, that's 11. What value of x corresponds to that frequency? That would be the value of 7. So my mode is 7. For my median, I want to determine, well, what is the middlemost position? So I would take my n of 30 plus 1, which would give us 31, divided by 2, which would give us a middlemost position of 15.5. So I want to go down my frequency column again to determine where is that middlemost position. So we would take 2 plus 8, so now we're in the 10th position, the last 6. We'll move over to our series of 7s here. So we're at 10. We look at, we need 5.5 more. There's 11 7s, so we know that the 15.5 position is going to occur here among the 7s. So our median is going to be 7. Now, our last measure is the mean. We're going to do just what we did before. We're going to fill in this column here by multiplying x times the frequency of x. So 5 times 2 is 10, 6 times 8 is 48, 7 times 11, 77, 8 times 3 is 24. Then we have 18, and finally 40. So again, I want to get our sum here. So I would add together all of these values in this column. So 10 plus 48, 77, 24, 18, and 40 should give us a total sum of 209.5. 217. And just like we did before, we want to divide that 217 by 30, which would give us a mean of 7.23. All right,